And so that leads us into our tips for how to set a campaign up for success. And we always say that success begins at the start of your campaign. Being smart here enables you to be smart during and at the end of the campaign. And so our first tip is always try a couple of different providers at once. And this helps you contextualize performance, seeing how different providers work and see what kind of attention they're delivering. It also helps you see if there's dramatic differences. We had a client recently where one provider for the same cost per click and targeting parameters was delivering 4 times the amount of attention. So therefore their inventory was a lot better for this particular brand. Now generally there's no hard and fast rule around which providers are best. It's around just using the data to optimize your campaign.
Cool. I'm going to jump in on this one just because this is one I'm very passionate about. Taking organic insights to set up your campaign targeting. So, really good example of this. Recently, we were measuring a campaign for a drink brand, and they had bought content on a lifestyle site. Now, they'd started with some distribution. The publisher had started a very small amount, and they were just wanting to see how it went for the first couple of days. Now, you saw the distribution source data, but that's not the only data at your fingertips. There's so much information that you can use to make the right distribution choices before going in and throwing a huge amount of money at it. So what they were able to find out from, I think it was the first 3 days since it had gone live, was that when they looked at their attention minutes by device across all traffic, they could see that people were on mobile and tablet were spending much higher attention, so almost double that of desktop for mobile. And also, actually, when they compared that against their benchmark, they knew that they were coming in, much higher than what they should expect for their brand. So immediately there, they know the right kind of device. Also, they were able to see that Facebook, there'd been a small amount of traffic coming in from Facebook, a little bit of it paid, but Facebook had been driving, I think, around an average of 2.8 attention minutes. So there we go, we can go, great, that's a really good distribution choice for us. Also, they were able to see that the majority of the reach was coming through between 6 to 10 p.m. at night. Like, that's when people wanted to read the content. And also that one piece of content out of, I believe, 4 was performing much better than the other. It was getting higher social engagement, people were scrolling further down. So immediately they had all those steps to put together, so they could go, great, this is the piece of content that we're going to promote. We're going to use promoted Facebook posts as our distribution choice. We're going to target mobile and tablet, and we're going to run the campaigns in the evening. So it just allows you to pull all that information together before you go out and spend a huge amount of budget. And it can be a really helpful way for getting your campaigns, set up right at the beginning for success.
And so that leads nicely into the next one, which is around talking about breaking up your campaigns. So when you're setting up your distribution, make sure you break it up into multiple campaigns. So looking at breaking it up by different devices, different audiences and interests. And the reason that you do this up front is because it allows you to refine your campaign over time and easily drill into what's working the best. For example, you might find out that mobile is working the best for you during your campaign. But if you've bundled all of that into just one campaign at the distribution source, it's going to be hard to refine and optimize that. So we always say break it out up front. And this leads nicely into Holly's favorite point, which is you need to break out the campaigns, but you also need to
overtag. It's a bit of an obsession. So you've broken out, and this is actually, if I'm being honest, from what I see from most people, I think a lot of people do break out the campaigns up front. Obviously some aren't as much as they should be, but general rule is I think some people are really good at setting up those different campaigns. You've gone out, chosen your nice niche audience, you've chosen devices, you've chosen your partners, and you've done all of that. And then it comes to looking at post-click metrics, and all of a sudden it gets a bit more like, let's just loop it in, let's just put it all in together. So this is an example of how it should look within the dashboard. I've a lot of the time seen people just go paid social, as if Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram is going to all perform exactly the same. Or I've seen people use like a publisher, you know, buying content through a publisher and just going, this all came through from publisher.com, rather than splitting it into like in-feed units, or this was from a banner buy, you know, from the publisher. Again, when you're using, you know, your ad networks, things like Outbrain, just going, okay, well, that was all Outbrain. Well, assumably when you set it up, it was probably split out into a bit more detail. And the reason that's so important is you're going to find differences. Every time I've seen a client do this at the beginning of the campaign, just do the broad tagging, they've always changed it during the campaign, and they've probably, you know, lost some money in there because they've not taken some time. And I'm the first to understand, even though I'm saying over tagging, I know it's a pain. It takes time. It can feel a bit sort of strenuous setting it all up, but it's really going to help you, because immediately there I can look at that and go, okay, well, promoted Facebook post, the first post in the series, driving 2.07 attention minutes. Great. Well, my promoted tweet is coming in, you know, it's not coming in terms of low attention that badly, but it's half as what it is in Facebook. So why would I keep spending budget there? And also I can see that Twitter has a higher bounce rate. Also, if I looked at Outbrain, I could see, well, wait a minute, the finance campaigns, people are only spending an average of 0.4 attention minutes, and 41% are leaving the page before it even loads, whereas technology is 0.7. So I'm going to move my budget into that part. I'm going to move my budget into Facebook. You know, I might move publisher, realize both things are going well. But putting all of that together just allows you to, you know, actually make good distribution choices right up front.